everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 6 maths. So you can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 6 and then click on view all lessons. So there you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter percents, and the lessons we're going to cover from the chapter are convert between percents, fractions and decimals, percents of numbers with fractional and decimal percents, find what fraction of what number, find what fraction one number is of another, compare percents to each other and to fractions, right? Okay, so let's just start with the percents. So you're in grade 6. What do you know about the percents? It's been long time you were working on the percents. So what is percents? How do you define percents? You please make sure you have your notebook and so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So when we say percent, we are really saying per 100, right? So percent means 1% means 1 per 100, right? Whenever you can see the word percents, that means 100, right? Percents means 100. So that means the percentage is a relative value indicating hundredth part of a quantity, right? That is the definition of the percentage, right? That is a relative quantity value that indicate 100 part of a quantity, right? So the first lesson we need to start with is convert between percents, fractions and decimals. So how do you convert from percents to fractions and from percents to decimal? We are going to learn how do we convert between percents, decimals and fractions, right? Convert between percents, fractions and decimals. So for example, you are given the question in percentage form 83%, right? You have to write down the answer in the simplest form. So how do you write? 83% means that is 83 out of 100, right? The correct option is 83 out of 100. So they are already in simplified form. You don't have any number that can be divided by numerator. You do not have any common number that can be divided by numerator and denominator, and you can get the That means 83% means 83 out of 100. So that's how you write when you are given the question in the percentage form and you have to write down the answer in the fraction form, right? Okay, the next one is how do you write 0.07 as percentage, right? You are given the answer in the decimal form and you have to write down the answer in the percentage form. So whenever you have to write the answer in percentage form, what you have to do, you simply have to multiply the number by 100, right? That would be 7%. Okay, the next one is you have to write down 20% as decimal. So how do you write 20% as decimal? 20% means that is 20 out of 100, right? Just divided by the 100, that would be 0 0.2, right? So here is the conversions from percentage to fraction. From decimals to percent and from percents to decimals, right? Okay, we'll do more practice questions later today. The next lesson we're going to cover today are percents of numbers with fractionals and decimals, decimal percents, right? Okay, okay. Percents of numbers with fractions and decimal percents. Okay, so how do we find percent of a number? Basically, we're going to learn how do we find the percentage of a number. For example, you have to calculate 62% of 80. So what do you know? How do we calculate 62% of 80? Just form a proportion, right? 62% of 80. 80 is the whole number and percentage is 62%. You need to find what what is 62% of 80. You need to calculate the part of 80. How much part? 62%, right? So let's just calculate the value. That would be part divided by whole and that equals 62 over 100, right? You have to calculate the part, right? Let's just replace this with the n. It would be n over 62. No, n over whole is 80. N over 80 equals 62 over 100. So just cross multiply. So it would be 62 times 80 over 100, right? When you multiply, it would be 49.6, right? That means 62% of 80 is 49.6. Got it? Okay, let's just do another practice question. The basic thing is you need to understand the question carefully, right? For example, the next one is 68.75% of 32, right? You have to calculate 67.5% of 32, right? So 32 is the whole, that is 32. You need to calculate the part. How much part? 68.75%, right? So just form a proportion. It would be part divided by whole number and n divided by 100. So part is you have to calculate this value percentage is 32, and n is 68.75 divided by 100. Right, let's just do cross multiply 32 other side. So it would be P equals 32 times 68.75 divided by 100. So let me just do calculations. So if you do calculations, it would be 21.04, right? The correct option is 22. That means 68.75% of 32 is 22, right? That means 68.75% of 32 is 22, right? Let's just do another example. The other example is 31 whole 1 over 4 percent of 96, right? So here you are given the mixed number, right? 1 over 4 is 25, so that would be 31.25. You have to calculate the part of 96. How much part? 31.25%, right? Whole is 96. You have to calculate the part. N is 31.25. So it would be part divided by whole equals 31.25 over 100, right? You are given the whole, that is 96. So just replace the value. It would be P over 96 equals 31.25 over 100, right? Just cross multiply 96 other side. So 31.25 times 96 divided by 100, right? So when we do calculations, it would be 31.25 times 96. That would be 30. That means 96%. That means 31.25% of 96 is 30. The correct option is 30, right? So that's how you calculate the percentage. Got it? Okay, we'll do the practice questions first later. Let's just discuss the other lesson. The next one is find what percent or one number is of another. The next lesson is find find what percent one number is of another. That means what one number is what percent of another number, right? For example, you are given the missing percent of 28 equals 14, right? That means you need to see 14 is what percent of 28, right? So how do you calculate? You need to understand the question first. The whole is 28. You are given the part, that is 14, but you are not given with, and you need to find the percentage, right? So just form a proportion, that would be 14 over 28 equals n divided by 100, right? Just two cross multiplication. So 14 times 100 is 1400. So 1400 divided by 28, the correct option is 50. That means 14 is 50% of 28, right? You can see 14 is exactly half of 28. That means 14 is 50% of 28, right? Let's just do another example. The other example is 42 is what percent of 84, right? So whole is 84 and part is 82. You need to see what percent, right? So when you do calculations, you can see logically 42 is exactly half of 84, right? That means that would be 50%. The correct option is 50%. Got it? Okay, next question lesson is percents of number word problems. You have to do this on your own. The next one is compare percents to each other and to fractions. So how do we compare the fractions and okay, let's just see how do we compare the percents and the other numbers, right? Compare percents to each other and to fraction. Okay, let's just start with an example. You have 55% and you have 53%. You have to see which sign makes the statement true. So, which is the correct option? That is in the percentage form, right? Whenever you have to compare n- these things, make sure they are in the same form, like they both are in the percentage form. So, obviously, 55% is greater than 53%. If you have something like this 58% and 48 whole 1 over 2%, that would be you have to convert, but both of them are in percentage, that is 58 and that is 48 and half. So obviously 48% is greater than 48 whole 1 over 2, right? Okay, let's just start with the practice questions. So here we are on the grade 6 math. The chapter we're working on is percent. Let's just start with the first lesson, that is convert between percents, fractions and decimals. So let's just start with the first lesson. Okay, let's start with the practice questions. What is 20% of a, sorry, how do you write 20% as decimal? So which is the correct option? Yes, very good. That would be zero point 0.2. So how do you know 20% means that is 20 out of 100, right? You have to divide 20 by 100. That would be zero point 0.2, right? 0, sorry. 20% means 20 out of 100. Just divide, that would be zero point 0.2. Very good. The correct option is zero point 0.2. Okay, how do you write 84% as decimal? So which is the correct option? Which option is the correct one? 84% means 84 out of 100. And when you divide, that would be 0.84, right? The correct option is 0.84. How do you write 1 by 2 as percentage? Which is the correct option? 1 by 2 is in fractional part, right? You have to convert from fraction to percentage. You can do, you have two ways. Simply divide 1 by 2 and multiply by 100. When you divide 1 by 2, that would be 0.5, and 0.5 times 100 is 50%. The other way is make this decimal equal to 10. Sorry, make this decimal equal to 100. 50 times 2 is 100, right? You need to multiply both numerator and denominator by 50. That would be 50 over 100. That equals 50%. Got it? You can use any method that would be easy for you. So that is 50%. How do you write 0.6 as a percentage? Whenever you have to go from decimal to percentage, simply multiply the decimal value by 100, right? So 0.6 times 100 is 60%. The correct option is 60%. Got it? That would be 60%. How do you write 83% as a fraction in simplest form? The correct option is 83 divided by 100, right? Option 1 is the correct option. How do you write 20% as a fraction in simplest form? 20% means 20 out of 100, right? Divide them by the common number, that would be 20. 20 times 1 is 28, 20 times 5 is 100. It would be 1 out of 5, right? The correct option is 1 by 5. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next one. That would be percents of numbers with fractional and decimal percents. Okay, what is 21 whole 3 by 10% of 87? 21 whole 3 by 10% of 87. 87 is whole, right? You have to calculate part of 87. How much part? 21 whole 3 over 10. So when you write 3 by 10 as 0.3, right? You can write it as 21.3%, and that would be the value of n. Just form a proportion, that would be part over whole divided by n over 100. You have to calculate part. Whole is 87, n is 21 over 3, 21.3 over 100. So percentage is 87 point times 21.3 over 100, right? Let's just do calculations. That is 18.53. That means, or it would be rounded off to 19. That means 21.3% of 87 is 19 or 18.53. Got it? The correct option is 18.531. Got it? The next one is 32.5% of 68. Just do the calculate the value and let me know the answer, which is the correct option. You have to do exactly the same way like I did. Which is the correct option? One easiest way to do percentage is, that is a short method, right? Let me just tell you. 32.5% of 68. Simply do 32.5 times 68 and divide by the 100. Just do the calculations, right? You will get your answer. That would be 22.1. That is the easiest way to calculate the percentage of a number. Simply multiply the number by, simply multiply the percentage value and the number and divide them by the 100. That would be 22.1. Got it? The correct option is 22.1. What is 12.5% of 72? Which is the correct option? Which is the correct option? You can even follow the way I just told you. Very good. That would be 9. And also keep this method in your mind, because when you're doing multiple choice questions, you can do the simplest way, right? Okay, the next one is 68.8% of 18, which is the correct option. 68.8% of 18, which is the correct option. That would be option number 1. Very good. 12.38 is the correct option, right? What is 15 whole 17 by 25% of 83, which is the correct option? Just divide 17 by 25 and make the percentage a decimal value, right? That would be 15.68, which is the correct option. The correct option is 31. Option number 1 is the correct option. Very good. What is 94.91% of 30, which is the correct option? Ninety-four point 91% of 30 is 28.473, right? Very good. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. The next lesson is find what percent one number is of another. What percent of 33 equals 33, which is the correct option? Hundred percent of 33 is 33, right? The correct option is 100%. 14 is what percent of 56? Okay, 14 is what percent of 56? 56 is whole, 14 is part. What percent? You don't know, right? You need to calculate n. Form a proportion P by W, n over 100. P is 14 over 56 equals n over 100. Just do cross multiplication, multiply 100 to 14. That would be 14 times 100 over 56, right? Just do calculations. 1400 divided by 56 is 25. That means 14 is 25% of 54. Got it? 14 is 25% of 54. Basically, you need to follow the same proportion. You just need to understand the question, right? What you have to find. Got it? Okay, what percent of 20 is 15? Which is the correct option? Just do calculations and let me know the answer. Be quick. What percent of 20 is 15? Very good, that would be 75%. When you have to calculate what percent of 20 is 15, simply divide 15 by 20. 15 is the part of what? 20. 15 by 20 equals 0.75. That means that is 75%. Got it? Part by whole, always, right? What percent of 28 is 14? Simply do 14 by 28. Multiply by 100, right? That is 50%. The correct option is 50%, right? 4 is what percent? $4 is what percent of $8? 50% it is, right? Because 4 is half of 8. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Percents of numbers were problems you have to do on your own. Compare percents to each other and to fractions. Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, you are comparing 76% and 76%. Are they equal? Greater or less? They both are exactly equal, right? Okay, the next one is 28% and 28%. Which is the correct option? They are equal. 47% and 48%. Which is the correct option? 47 is less than 48, right? 24% and 21%. Which is the correct option? 24 is greater than 21, right? So the correct option is greater. 24% is greater than 21. Okay, so here you have to compare all the percents. If you have a percentage and a fraction, how do you compare? Convert this fraction to percentage, because you always compare values in the same units, right? Compare 1 by 2 to percentage. Divide and multiply by 100. That would be 50%, right? Divide 1 over 2 and multiply by 100. That would be 50%. So you can compare 24% is less than 50%. That is an example if you have to compare percentage and a fraction. Got it? Because you don't have any example here, and the question, the lesson name is compare percents to each other and two fractions, but for fractions you're not given with any example. Got it? Okay, so we are working on grade 6 math. The chapter we're working on is percents. The lessons we have covered today are convert between percents, fractions, and decimals, percents of numbers with fractions and decimal percents, find what percent one number is of another, percents of a number per problem you have to do on your own, compare percents to each other and to fractions, and compare percents and fractions per problems you have to do on your own, right? So that is your homework. Before the next session you have to complete all the practice questions for the lessons we did today, right? So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday, 5 to 9. Or either you can join me in the interactive session that will be daily from 4 to 5 and from 9 to 10, right? So if you have any question, you can please ask. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. Please ask questions if you have any. Okay, and then that's all for today. See you in the next session.